YouTube, it's Eric. I have time for another quick video before I have to go to work this afternoon. I'm just gonna bring up this historical fact if you're not aware of it. But if you've seen I did a video earlier down in my channel feed that I showed a footage of Lee Harvey Oswald, the supposed shooter of John F. Kennedy. I showed footage of Oswald saying that I'm just a patsy, and Oswald said that he was just a patsy in the Dallas Police Department. But if you're not aware of Lee Harvey Oswald, 4 months before he was used as a patsy, as a as a scapegoat for the Kennedy assassination. Lee Harvey Oswald spoke at Jesuit Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama, 4 months before Kennedy was assassinated. And Lee Harvey Oswald's brother attended Jesuit Spring Hill College. I'm gonna show you that Lee Harvey Oswald was in communication with Jesuit trained seminarian David Ferry before the assassination. But I linked the sources in the description here. But this was just I linked some of this information in a comment I did just in a previous video. But this is quoting from this website here, 22nd November 1963.org.uk, Lee Harvey Oswald speech in Alabama. We see, quote, in July 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald was living in New Orleans. His cousin, Eugene Murritt, was attending the Jesuit House of Studies at Spring Hill College. Let me see if I can get a photo of this guy. This is Lee Harvey Oswald's cousin who was full on attending Jesuit Spring Hill. This looks like this. Oh, I wonder if this is him here, Eugene Murritt. He was a philosophy press professor, and he taught. Looks like he also taught at Loyola. Is this Loyola Chicago? Oh, Loyola New Orleans. Interesting. That makes sense. That Lee Harvey Oswald's brother become a professor at Loyola New Orleans because David Ferry, I'm gonna show you, was from New Orleans. You see, his cousin Lee Harvey Oswald's cousin Eugene Murritt was attending the Jesuit House of Studies at Spring Hill College, a couple hours drive away in Mobile, Alabama. Murritt asked Oswald to visit the Jesuit College and give a talk about his experiences of the Soviet system, which was a Jesuit uh, philosophy. Mar- Karl Marx and Joseph Stalin were trained by Jesuits, and Lenin was reaching out to Eugenio Pacelli from 1919 to 1927. You see, Oswald notes for his speech are given below, followed by an account of the speech assembled by another student, Robert Fitzpatrick. I linked that in the description, and I linked this source in the description. Uh, another source documenting that Oswald spoke at Jesuit Spring Hill College. In 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald addresses the Jesuits about life in the Soviet Union 4 months before assassinating President John F. Kennedy. Um, and I'll show you. This is the college that Oswald spoke at here, Spring Hill College. It still in existence, private Jesuit liberal arts college, founded in 1830. There's the logo there. You see the Jesuit IHS in the logo. And I think they do post their alumni list. There are some prominent alumni. Um, the U.S. Secretary of Labor here, Alex Herman. He was Secretary of Labor or Alexis Herman, Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton. Jeremiah Denton, career U.S. Navy officer. Illinois state senators, politicians. I think it's a prominent list. CEO of the American Association of Retired Persons, Joanne Jenkins. Former governor of Louisiana, Samuel McCurney. He was governor from 1881 to 1888, Jesuit trained. The current governor of Louisiana, John Bell Edwards, is a Knight of Columbus. And here's the former mayor of New Orleans, went to Jesuit Spring Hill College, Thomas Sims Walmsley. He was mayor of New Orleans from 1929 to 1936. So it's a pretty prominent school. And Lee Harvey Oswald spoke at Jesuit Spring Hill College. And just another connection, just quickly, was this David Ferry guy. And interestingly, like when I made the video, if you notice the video I made on Eric John Phelps, where I showed a clip of Phelps saying that he was a Jesuit novice, like in the clip, he says that he was a Jesuit novice, just like David Ferry. Um, we see here David Ferry was an American pilot who was alleged by the New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison to have been involved in the conspiracy to assassinate President John F. Kennedy. Garrison also alleged that David Ferry knew Lee Harvey Oswald. Ferry denied any involvement in the conspiracy and said that he never knew Oswald. Continuing here, decades later, photos emerged establishing the fact that Ferry had been in the same Civil Air Patrol unit as Oswald in the 1950s. Ferry was born in Cleveland, Ohio, a Roman Catholic. Ferry attended Jesuit St. Ignatius School, Jesuit John Carroll University, and then went to the Roman Catholic St. Mary's Seminary, where he studied for the priesthood. Phelps says that Ferry became a Jesuit novice. But you see here, Baldwin, and he also went to Baldwin Wallace College. Ferry then spent the next 3 years at the Roman Catholic St. Charles Seminary in Cartagena, Ohio. Ferry obtained a pilot license and began teaching aeronautics at Cleveland's Roman Catholic Benedictine High School. He was fired from the school for several infractions, including taking boys to a house of prostitution. Very telling for his Jesuit education. But you see here, David Ferry was asked to be a guest aerospace education instructor at a smaller squadron at Mosant Airport and lectured there from June to September 1955. On July 27th, 1955, a 15-year-old Lee Harvey Oswald joined his squadron. So David Ferry was intimate with Lee Harvey Oswald. They were in the same uh, pilot organization in the 1950s. There's a photo of him here. David Ferry went to 2 Jesuit schools and taught at 3 Roman Catholic schools. Was trained to be a Roman Catholic priest at a seminary. It's very significant. But if you weren't aware that Lee Harvey Oswald spoke at Jesuit Spring Hill College in 1963, and then he proceeded to say that he was a patsy, and he was the magic bullet theory is so ridiculous, and even you had the CIA agent, President Eisenhower's chief of psychological warfare, C.D. Jackson, purchased the Zapruder film. C.D. Jackson, you have to understand, he was when the late Jesuit Joseph Rettinger, who founded the Bilderberg Group, came to America. He was meeting with C.D. Jackson for hours. C.D. Jackson became the head of the American Bilderberg wing. But it was C.D. Jackson that bought the Zapruder film, and then the Zapruder film was altered, and even Time Life magazine funded the Oliver Stone movie. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up if you aren't aware that Kennedy, it just shows the Jesuits were involved in the Kennedy assassination cover up. And Alan Dulles was one of the key players on the Warren Commission. Alan Dulles is a Knight of Malta, and he has a nephew, Avery Dulles, who is a Jesuit priest. Kennedy fired Alan Dulles 3 months before, and then Dulles becomes then Dulles goes on to the Warren Commission. Yeah, the JFK documents will never be released to the public. I saw this was very significant, though, that Lee Harvey Oswald addressed the Jesuits 4 months before assassinating President John F. Kennedy. Yeah, I don't know. I could see. Yeah, I could see. I could see maybe them removing Francis, but I don't know. He is a Jesuit pope. That's what makes you think they're gonna do I think there'll be a big false flag with large geopolitical implications before Pope Francis leaves office. I just think because he's the first Jesuit pope, I think something's gonna happen in that sense, whether it's another 9/11 or launching another crusade. But yeah, I think that's all for this one, YouTube. I link these speeches in the description. You can read about Oswald speaking in Alabama. But yeah, that's all for this at the Jesuit Spring Hill College. That's all for this one, YouTube. Peace and love.